Up until a year and a half before the gates opened, Eddie, the fair still didn't have a symbol. There was nothing to point to. You couldn't ballyhoo the fair by taking a picture of something. Since then, as we all know, the Space Needle became the symbol of the fair, and I think your role in seeing that happened is a very interesting one. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, in 1959, the Webb Moffats, longtime friends of ours, said to Nell and I one night they were going to Stuttgart to pick up a car and then on to Switzerland and Austria, Germany for a little ski, and would we like to go with them? I was tired, and so I said sure. So we flew to Germany, arrived in Stuttgart one night, went to the television tower for dinner. The television tower in Stuttgart was unique in that its finest restaurant was on the top of this television tower. I went up there, and mind you, I'd spent a business lifetime in the hotel business, very conscious of restaurants, services, and facilities. This was a restaurant, good service, good food, 2 levels, and packed. And so we had a great evening, went back and went to bed. And the next morning, with the change in time, I woke up early. And we were staying in the hotel, and I went downstairs, and there was a little paper placemat on the table. And the fair was pretty much in my mind. And by this time, we had the idea of the science theme based upon the Sputnik interest. And I remember sketching out on that paper placemat, I drew a line of a tower, not a very fancy picture, and I put a ring around it, and thought to myself, you know, if we could build a tower and call it the Space Needle, we'd have a symbol for the fair. And I got a postcard and scribbled this on a note to Dingwall and sent it back to him. Unfortunately, the postcard was lost. But by the time we reached Paris, this idea of a tower, a Space Needle, in Seattle had become quite an obsession with me. We went to the Eiffel Tower, and I looked at it through different eyes. I remember the first time I went to New York, I went to the top of the Empire State Building. The first time I was in Tokyo, I went to the television tower. And towers worldwide have a certain attraction for them, or to people. So when we returned to Seattle, I wanted to tell a story to somebody who would listen me through without initially telling me this was the most stupid thing he'd ever heard in his life.
At last, the Seattle World's Fair. Look at that observation tower. A 600-foot marvel. They call it the Space Needle. And the restaurant on top revolves. What a view. All of the fair in Seattle, too. And a galaxy of fun and gay with. Seattle World Fair, here we come.